Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language, episode 637.
The sexiest podcast on the network.
Yep.
Long.
That's 637 up to or including me?
Yes.
Huh?
No?
No?
Yeah, very nice. Very nice, Brian.
Yeah. Try not to suck any dick on the way home.
You know what I've come to realize? As much as I love using these AirPods for podcasting, when I like laugh or smile, it like my ears compress into them, and that shit don't feel too good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a definite like first world problem. Remember those?
It is. You are 100%
oh, my
right.
ears hurt from my expensive AirPods. Oh, my poor ears. What an asshole I am.
This is a real problem. You're not having clean drinking water. Bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's all about, guys. You know,
yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, not only I've got a flavored drinking water.
I mean, this is what they did in medieval times.
Yeah.
Can't drink the water, make beer.
Yep, makes sense. Drink beer and
brother.
Wine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was in Kroger yesterday, and I had my AirPods in, and there was a woman that was giving away samples of ice cream, and she was all waving her arms. And usually when I'm walking around the store, I'll have one on noise canceling and one I'll leave where I can still hear the outside noise. That way I can hear if someone's coming around a corner, so I don't run into them or anything. And so, and she's waving at me, and then she points at the ice cream and is doing the thumbs up, do you want some of this? And I was like, I can hear you. And she's like, oh. She's like, most people have the noise canceling on. And I was like, yeah. I always leave one off so that I can hear stuff around me a little bit. And she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, she forced the ice cream on me. I had no choice.
So I would have had to, because I leave mine in noise canceling on, because I don't want to hear anything but whatever I'm listening to.
Yeah.
So I would have to mime to her grabbing my guts and just shitting on the floor.
Right. Yeah. Which would have been fun. Yeah. But I mean, she originally, it was Neapolitan ice cream, and the little cup she went to hand me was almost all strawberry, and I'm like, slow down,
this pink shit.
I sometimes have an allergy to strawberry things, so I'm like, can you give me vanilla or chocolate? So she scooped out a fresh gimmick for me to give me some, just chocolate. I've had their, it's chocolate and vanilla ice cream. Do you really need samples of it? I mean, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I know what it tastes like. It tastes like chocolate.
Not gonna lie, Kroger brand has Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches. Pretty lit.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I took it because I was like, well, it's ice cream.
See, if I took it, yes, it'd because I was crazy. Because guts shit on floor.
Yeah, you explain. Yeah. Spill on aisle 3. I get you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And 4. Possibly 5.
Yeah. Maybe 5. 5's definitely got splash damage.
Splash damage.
Yeah.
It's definitely an AOE effect. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That was effect twice. AOE effect. It's like ATM machine.
Yeah, AOE. Yep. Oh, here we go.
What?
Speaking of Kroger, you sent me that picture, rubbing my nose in the fact that you had that sparkling ice watermelon lemonade.
Let me tell you, just saying, that was very necessary yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it was funny though, because you sent it to me, and I'm just like, that son of a bitch, And then I'm in Kroger, and I'm like, I haven't. Remember, I told you before, I had not walked down the actual aisles where they usually keep the stuff to see. Also, I didn't realize it was in a can. I thought it was in the bottles. Right. So once I saw that, I'm like, okay, now I know exactly.
That's kind of one of the reasons I sent you the picture, so you could keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. So I walked down, because I was actually when I thought of it, I was right by the water aisle at Kroger. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a quick look-see down here, and walk down there, and I was like, oh shit! I threw 2 of them in my cart, and then I took a picture and sent it to you that I was, that I for sure had also procured some of this.
You gotta give it the sniff test before you drink it. Right.
Oh wow.
Right.
Nice. So as Stone Cold would say, so here's to ya. Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll for sure be buying that probably every time I go to the store.
Tasty.
It's got caffeine in it too.
Does.
I didn't even realize that until just now. I mean, I don't care because it's not like I'm going to bed anytime soon.
Yeah, that's why I'm drinking downers.
Yeah. And by that you mean you just like mix up some downers and some water.
Precisely.
Beer, yeah. Ah, man. So I got to tell you a grocery story. I told this on the Crazy Life. So if somebody wants the full story, if I may flub some details here, but I'm in Aldi the other day.
Aldi's
and
nuts.
I'll tell it basically the way I did there. So I'm like, yeah. So I was like, I'm like, okay, I'm going in just for the essentials. Red bag chicken. I needed some green beans, some fresh green beans, you know. And and when I get up in line, I got, red bag chicken, green beans, got a couple packs of the fudge and roped cookies or whatever they're called there.
Sexiest cookies alive,
and a bag of Chex. Right. And a bag of cheddar Chex Mix because I saw it and was like, ooh, Chex Mix sounds good. So
just like your tattoo says, Chex Mix sounds good.
It's true. Yeah. So I get up in line, this woman in front of me, and the lines are ridiculous. Like ridiculous, and I'm like, because you know how it is. Like you're looking at the stuff you have, you're like, I have 5 things in my hand. Like, do I need these this bad? Meijer's right there, and I'm like, but I can't get the red bag chicken at Meijer. I've only got two of them left at home. Kind of got to get the red bag
essential.
Chicken. Don't want to be without. And I'm like, well, their lines usually move pretty quick anyway. But then they opened a second line, and I'm like, okay, for sure, I'll stand in line now, because like how they scan stuff and just rocket it right into the cart, So the woman I'm behind though has so much stuff, and she's like, you might want to get in that other line because it's shorter. And she was right. There was only like 2 people in front of me over there, and neither of them had a lot. So I'm like, you know what? She's probably right.
You didn't
so
just
I head
go,
over there.
Bitch, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, slap her. Yeah, no. Just dump her cart on the ground and
now clean it up.
So I get in this line, and when I do, this little Asian lady, and by little I mean her top of her head did not meet my shoulder. Like,
yes,
very little. I don't know what it is lately, but everywhere I've been going, like, a lot of the women are really like, it's like short women like crazy, and I mean like short women, like not even 5 foot tall women. It's been
Have
very
you been
weird.
shopping
like
at
I'll
the
go
Aldi in the world of the Fae?
I might have. I don't know. You never know. When you go in there, sometimes it is like
it's
a different
very
dimension,
true.
So she comes up like perpendicular to me, and I'm like, why isn't she getting in line behind me? It's like, whatever, Well, then the people in front of me move, and she starts moving, and I'm like, is this like is she gonna try to cut? And she's got a like cart full of stuff. I've got like 5 things. Like, I don't mind sometimes. Like, I'll let people go in front of me. Like if it was opposite, where I had a cart full and she had 5 things, I'd be like, go ahead, But in this case, I'm kind of like under my breath a little bit, like, what are you doing, And she was like, what? And I was, so she heard me say something, and I was just like, oh, and she stopped, and then I took a step forward, and she waited. I was like, okay, she's just expecting me to move, and I didn't move, so
she was asserting her presence.
Yeah, dude, she looks at what I have in my hands, and she taps, like kind of hits my arm, and she's like, is that what you're eating tonight? She's like, that's not very healthy.
That's fucking hilarious.
And I was like, no, just grabbing stuff I forgot from the other store. I was like, I came in here for the green beans and the chicken. I was like, and had to have the cookies and the Chex Mix. And she goes, oh, I know. She reaches into her cart and she pulls up these cookies of some sort, and she's like, these are like 99 cents. And she's like, I'm just gonna sit there tonight, and she's mimicking, going like, I'm right. And I'm laughing because it's funny, right? And she goes, she's like, because when you're watching TV, she's like, your eyes are entertained. She goes, but your mouth is bored. You got to do something to keep your mouth from being bored.
That's an interesting thought.
I've never heard someone talk about mindless eating in that regard before, but I was like, you nailed it. Like, this really is why we're doing this.
That is interesting.
So I was laughing so hard, and then she just kept, like, we were talking, like, I had a bag of Chex Mix, and we were talking about how, like, we'll just eat you know, how you mindlessly eat a bag of something and you're like, oh God, I just ate
definitely
all
been
of
there
this,
before.
you know? And I was like, yeah, I'm glad they don't make bigger bags of Chex Mix because I would buy them. And she goes, yeah, and if you open the bag, you eat it all. And I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, and then it's like, oh God,
like,
what
man,
have I done?
this little old lady gets it.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, she's like, the dollar store used to have those bags of Chex Mix. And she's like, I'd buy like 5 or 6. And she's like, I'd eat like 2 watching my shows at night. And I was like, I feel you, because they're not very big bags anyway. It's easy to eat a bag of them, you know? So I'm laughing. I put my, you know, the divider thing in there, or no, I'm done with my stuff. And I reach for one of the dividers, and I set it down. She picks it up right as things slide toward the cashier, and he kind of puts his hands up like, you know, please don't hit me. And she's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna hit you. And she's like, you remind me of my children. She like, they used to just stand in the corner with their hands up. And in my head, I'm going, are you telling us you
Man,
beat
this
your
kid,
children?
this
Like,
fucking lady's a card.
oh my God, I was dying, dude. She had me rolling the whole time we were in line. And I get out of there and I'm still laughing. And I'm like, you know, first of all, thank you to the woman in the other line who was like, hey, you should go over there. Like the universe was like, hey, dumbass, you're supposed to be in that line because trust me, you know, like there's some hilarity.
Yeah, there's some good shit going on over there.
Yeah. And second of all, it took, you know, I've talked on here before about how like being in stores usually stresses me up pretty good. And Aldi's usually not too bad. You know, it's usually a pretty low stress store because it's not usually crazy
Don't
busy.
Go to Monroe Street,
you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I won't. So but that just made my day, man. I was so glad that I decided to go in there for that chicken and got in that, you know, did move over to that line, because if I had stayed in that other line, I would have completely missed that, because there were like 4 people behind me, so she would not have been anywhere near me. So I was so happy that I got in that line.
Yeah, so, sounds like a fantastic woman to meet.
Dude, got to keep your mouth from being bored. Oh my God. I keep thinking about it. Every time I do, I'm still laughing about it because it's just, it's so
very
funny.
Interesting thought.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's so good. I was like, you know what? I was thinking about it. I was like, because she mentioned her husband a couple of times, and I'm like, I bet that dude has his hands full with this lady if she's like this all the time.
Was younger?
Oh man.
You know? Wow, that's fun stuff right there.
It was great. Yeah. I was definitely made my day. Like I said, it's rare that you can really say that. Most of the time you go into a store, somebody near you usually half ruins your day more than they ever perk it up.
Exactly, you know? Right.
So yeah, kudos to her for you know, giving me, you know, 10 minutes of, or 5 or 10 minutes of
pure entertainment.
Yeah. I hope she enjoyed her cookies. You know, she had like 5 packs of them too, so she was stocking up. I didn't even catch what they were, but they were like 99 cents. Yeah. I'm sure they're gone now. My Chex Mix is for sure gone. I crushed that pretty fast. But again, yeah, it's like half the shit now, you know. Like we got last time we went to the store, my mom was like, "Can you get me some cheese curls?" I was like, "Sure." So I'm like, "Well, I'm going to get the Kroger brand cheese curls because they're not like $5 a bag."
Of course.
We've talked about that before. Dude, that bag wasn't even half full. Right? And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So the next time I go, I'm like, well, I'm going to get the Cheetos brand ones. Because the bag, and when I picked it up, I was like, this feels like a mostly full bag. They're $5 though. But I was like, if I buy 2 of the Kroger ones, which adds up to $5, I'm still going to get less than buying 1 of these. It shouldn't be that way. So I couldn't get over it. Dude, it was bad. You know, people talk all the time about, you know, you open a bag of chips and it's half empty.
What was that
whatever.
guy that's dead? 60 Minutes, Andy something. Yeah,
Rooney.
Like, the air in the chip bags or whatever.
Yeah, but it was like, dude, like when she opened that first bag of cheese puffs, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Like, yeah, it's like that's freaking robbery. And usually store brand stuff, you usually get a decent amount in the store brand, you know. And I was like, well, and when I was in there yesterday, I was like, well, I'm going to check again. Maybe it was a fluke bag. Nope. All the bags are like that. And I was like, wow, I'm like, I guess I'm either got to make sure I get my cheese curls somewhere else, or I'm going to have to just buy the Cheetos brand ones and just suck up the $5, because I just can't see spending $2.50 on like 2 handfuls of cheese puffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's crazy. It's like, I know Aldi probably, if Aldi doesn't have them, I'm sure Meijer does, Snacks. And I've heard that Meijer brand snacks are
absolutely,
S-tier.
Brian.
So
I stand by that.
I can't remember.
I stand by that statement.
But I've heard it.
Should make that into a T-shirt for our show. Yeah, S-tier snacks.
S-tier snacks. Snacks. Sure, Meijer.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna shout out them. Fuck them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. I see. I do appreciate the fact that if you and I were both wearing that, somebody would think that we're calling ourselves S-tier snacks.
So, I mean, you're talking about your beverage. The beverage I'm drinking, which, look at this color, this IPA, Brian. Delightful.
Yeah.
A little bit. Hazy. So a guy I work with, him and I were talking about beer, and he said this on Friday, he was going to Sandusky to Clag Brewing because they're having a big beer release. No.
Okay. I've not heard of them.
It's funny because it's a restaurant that like Jeannie and I used to go to. And the guy loved his beer.
Well, keep in mind, I haven't been to Sandusky since like the 90s.
But it's like I don't know if from what I hear, their food's still amazing, but it's like sushi and like, Asian cuisine. And the guy loved his beer. I think I told the story on the podcast. This is where the same place where, we're sitting at the bar and a guy came up, ordered a Miller Lite. The guy gave him a Bud Light, and the guy's like, I ordered a Miller, and he just waved them off and said, they're all the same. Right? Yeah, because this place, it was called the Small City Tap House. It had like 30 taps. And he opened up his own brewery called Clag, which stands for Cocky Little Asian Guy, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, so this beer I got, it's called Are You Chinese or Vietnamese? And look at his can. It's King of the Hill.
It's like King of the Hill.
Isn't that great? Funny. And dude, it is fucking incredible.
That's got to be. I bet you there's a line in there because their neighbor, God, I can't think of his name on the show. Their neighbor is Asian, and I bet at some point there's a line on the show where they say,
when I went to check it in on
Korean?
tap, they have another beer that was called Are You Chinese or Japanese? Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, all their cans are like, because I follow them on Instagram, they're all like, Big Trouble in Little China looking, or I mean, I've been wanting to try it. Their beer looks fantastic. A lot of times you look at the color and you're like, oh, it looks so good. But now that I finally got to try it, dude, it's so good.
Nice.
I'm very excited by this. It's a great can.
Too.
Like I wish I had a heat gun so I could kind of like peel this off and stick it to my beer fridge.
Oh yeah.
I might hang on to the can with that in mind.
Yeah. Or just, do you have a pair of snips?
Yeah, actually I do. You're right.
Cut it out, just put a magnet on the back of it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I could do that too. Sand the edges down a little bit. Oh God, got the hiccups.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, just watch the edges. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Such a good beer.
Give it the snips.
Speaking of beer too, I kegged up my brown ale. It's actually sitting next to me right here. It's in storage currently because I'm still working on the seltzer. But yeah, I mean,
nice.
It tastes pretty good. It's like a bitter English brown. Although I think I fucked up it's either I fucked up my initial measurements and it's got a lower ABV than I thought, or because it is an old kit, the yeast just wasn't up to snuff anymore because it was old. But Brian, the next beer, Black IPA. I've been researching recipes.
Nice.
So you're gonna have to come help me drink.
Oh darn.
Once I keg this up, or not keg it, carb it up.
Sacrifices I make.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I should definitely have some sort of beer drinking situation here. Invite some of my boys. Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Big fan. It's funny. Like this. Like I collect shot glasses, and I haven't really added to it a whole lot over the last few years because I really haven't seen any that. For a while, I was finding them in Goodwills, and then like for the longest time, man, it's like I never saw shot glasses in Goodwills unless they were like the name of the city or Hard Rock Cafe or something. It's like, I don't, yeah, like how many of those do you need? They're all the same, you know? So it's like, but I saw one, someone I follow on, I've known her on Twitter for a long time, and she posted on her Snapchat of them drinking, and dude, it's a urinal. And it's got a shot in it of like whiskey, or I don't know what it was, but dude, it looked like somebody peed in it. And I'm like, oh my God, I need one of those, because I for sure don't have one like that. And that's the kind of ones I love, are ones that are shaped weird or kind of cool. Yeah, just type in urinal shot glass. They'll come up.
That is fantastic. Oh my God, those are great.
Yeah. So I for sure got to get myself one of those. So yeah, it's like there's certain ones that are out there. Like I still want one of the Maker's Marks ones that have got like the wax dip on the bottom of the shot glass. I haven't got one of those. I need to find somebody who's going on the Bourbon Trail, because I think they sell them at the distillery.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know when Dev's going again. I'm sure he's planning on it because he's a man of culture. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe he'd be one to ask, though.
I think he told me before that they sell them there. I can order them online.
Those fucking shot glasses are great. Yeah.
Aren't they? It's the only thing that sucks is it's like you got to buy like a set of them. I don't want a whole set. Right. I just want one. Like I'm not concerned with, like, if people came over and wanted to do shots, I have plenty of shot glasses.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I would just I like those.
I mean, we could always go in halvesies. Yeah.
That's true too.
I mean, shots are definitely not in my repertoire anymore, but that would look fun in the the liquor cabinet.
Right.
Because I tend to, when I like go on vacation or I'm out and about, I usually look at the shot glasses, because if there's something weird, I'll pick it up and hook you up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because that's what other people used to do that and stuff too. But I've noticed like other people have said similar things, that they're not seeing
fun ones.
They're not seeing as many cool ones as there used to be. A lot of the liquor companies used to make really cool ones. And a lot of them kind of got away from doing that. So every time I'm in Goodwill and stuff, I always look, because usually if they have them, they're, 50 cents, a buck, whatever. And I don't mind paying that for them, but like I said, what sucked was there used to be right over here by me, like, sorry for going local, but you know where Lowe's is right by me? There used to be a thrift store right next, like right in that shopping center. That place used to have all sorts of shot glasses. And then they went out of business. And, and it's just like ever since then, it's like I found one here, one there, it's like I just don't find them like I used to. So, yeah. Anyone listening, if you find really cool shot glasses, send me a picture, and, maybe
or just send them to shot glass.
Be interested. Or if you want to just, I was gonna say, or if you just want to send me a shot glass.
Don't just limit it at a picture, Brian. Yeah.
Right. But I was meaning like, hey, is this one you're interested in? That kind of a thing.
Oh, I see.
Because I kind of got that way with my family and stuff, because I was starting to get more of the like more generic ones, and I was like, okay, well, I appreciate it, but I also, these are not ones I'm more interested in the really cool ones, like weird shaped ones, or not just weird shape, but just cool,
like unusual ones. Yeah, for sure. I get it.
Yeah. Like if somebody had one that looked like a lucha mask or something, I'd be like, that's pretty awesome. I've got one that's got like a skull in it. That's pretty, I was like, I love that one. But, like I said, I've got a decent amount of kind of weird ones, but I also have a lot that are just basically clear shot glasses, like a lot of them will say like, Bob's Liquor or something on the side of it. It's like, okay, whatever. These are not real near and, dear to me, but whatever,
God, do you remember the days, Brian, when we used to do shots?
Yeah, we were real dumb.
Like, I'm
real dumb.
Pretty sure the only shot I'll ever do from here on out would be like a shout out to our boy T. Yeager shot. That's about it. Fair. I'm kind of over shots.
I really don't want to do any other kind of shots. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to do that, but I've always told you, I was like, anytime you're like, hey, we got to do one for T, let's go, like, can't say no to that. But Otherwise, I really want to be done with shots.
No, they're not my friend. Like I'm not afraid of whiskey and stuff like that, but I want to sip it and enjoy it. I don't want to just be like, here's a fucking stripper's asshole or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, great.
You don't want to go tongue deep in a stripper's asshole. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Yeah, we're too old for that shit.
Way too old for that shit.
I love somebody I follow on Twitter that just turned, like, she just celebrated her 30th birthday, and she posted pictures from her, birthday celebration, and was like, "Oh, why did I do all those shots?" And I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "No, you're still in your 30s."
Yeah,
I'm like,
"You're
exactly.
Good. You still got plenty of tolerances like, there."
I was like, once you hit 40, I'm like, you got to retire from shots. You got to move on to something else.
Yeah, it's like your health bar and your stamina bar drop.
Yeah.
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 You ain't wrong. It for sure changes,
It's like, I feel like when you're young, you're like a fighter class, and as you get older, you turn into more like a wizard class.
True. I've never been a fighter class, but I feel like I'm a tank. So, yeah. Because I've drank a lot of weird shit. So I always felt like I was more tank, but you're right. As I'm getting older, I'm like, I'd rather keep my distance. I'll help out everybody else, keep their stamina up.
I got to keep my mana up because my health and stamina are way low.
Right. So I think you're right on that, Oh, man. My sinuses are a damn mess today. I don't know. Well, probably the weather.
I'm gonna test my sinuses tonight, there, buddy. Yep.
Oh yeah. Habanero mustard.
No,
habanero mustard.
Delicious though.
Right up the nose.
It's that time of year where the air's getting dry and I fucking snore my face off. I woke up last night all alone in bed because I scared Michelle away, which I hate. You ever hear of mouth taping?
Yes, I have. I can't do it because the idea.
I'm gonna give it a whirl.
Me.
I got some of that 3M micropore tape, and I'm gonna give it a whirl.
Right, because I know it's got holes in it, so you can still breathe, basically. But it's like you're not gonna suffocate. But it's just I don't think I could handle sleeping with that.
Like I wake up in the morning, and I could tell if I'm snoring real bad because like. My mouth is so dry and hurts, and my throat. It's like a dust demon, like mouth fucked me all night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably. I probably just live in a haunted house.
Yeah, you're probably not snoring at all. Actually,
just getting taken advantage of.
Or what happens is your snoring is actually the mating call of the dust demon. It's like, oh, I hear open cavity.
So I'm gonna try it tonight and see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Because it's like I know it's I know obviously when you're snoring that bad, like I wake up and I don't feel good either, and I don't feel refreshed. Right. I mean, I did this morning because
sure
I was fucking exhausted, but
right, which probably doesn't help the cause. Like for me, when I'm exhausted, I snore like a maniac. Sure. If my sinuses are messed up or I'm sick, I snore like crazy. And basically, as long as I don't sleep on my back, I usually don't snore. But if I sleep on my back, I definitely
figure my nose is free and clear. So, and if I wake up tomorrow and I feel great, I'll be like, all right, we'll see. Or if I can't fall asleep tonight, then I'll know. Like, all right,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where part of my problem would be is I don't think I could fall asleep with it on my face. I have too much like anxiety / claustrophobic kind of tendencies. I don't think I can handle it.
How I am. I could be in the middle of a house fire and I'd be like, I'm falling asleep, guys.
Yeah. I'm sleepy. Yeah. They're like, well, that makes sense. Smoke will do that too. You're like, exactly. Smoke. Yeah.
I'm already asleep on the ground.
Yeah. Oh God, we got to get him out of here. Meanwhile, you haven't inhaled anything.
Just sleepy time. Yeah, it's fucking 10:15, y'all.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Like, no, he was asleep before the fire even broke out.
Crazy, son.
He was, in fact, he looked over and said, "Oh shit, the house is on fire," and then fell asleep.
Yeah, so I'll have a full report next week for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm curious too. I'll be honest.
remember I think listening to Nikki Glazer's podcast, and I think she talked about using it because she was snoring. It was either her or I can't remember if it was her or if it was God, what's his name? That friend of hers that's a comedian that toured with her a lot. Andrew, I think his name is. He opened for her quite a bit. It was one of the two of them snored and they did it, and I was like, oh, it's just the idea that it immediately kind of makes me like cringe.
Well, it's like we're talking about podcasts. I heard about, I can't remember what podcast it was, but a comedian on a podcast was talking about how he did it to fix his snoring and his like sleep apnea. And they sell this shit called hostage tape. And he's like, I love it. So
wow, that's
I know, right?
Interesting name.
So I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked into it. And then, of course, go to Reddit because that's where the real people are.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, don't spend your money on it. Just buy 3M micropore tape. It's way cheaper. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I bought some today. Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. Like, it's funny how many products are basically marketed as a specialty item, and then that means there's a premium on the item. But you can also find basically the same item in its natural form for less money. So I assume that's what's going on here.
Hostage tape. It's like black. Ooh, so cool.
Yeah, most of the ones I've seen, I know there's a couple. Obviously, I'm sure there's more than one brand of it. So the ones I've seen have been mostly black. But I was like, okay, who cares? I used to do the breathe.
I've tried that. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it never really did much for me. The only thing I will say is I could definitely get more air. I could feel that, but it didn't stop any snoring. I still
100%. Like if I put on the breathe right, these freaking nostrils open up wide. I was like, I felt like I turned into a wolf or something. Like I could smell everything.
Well, it's like. Also, and then your snoring's probably even worse. It's like when you put those big exhaust pipes on a car.
Put the old fart pipe on them.
Yeah. Like, oh God, what have I done? I've weaponized it.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm curious, genuinely too.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, especially if it's something that can help.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I mean, it's like in the summertime when it's a little more humid out, it's really not that big.
Yeah.
As soon as it gets dry.
Can you sleep with a humidifier?
I've tried. I had one on last year that was so aggressive. I'd wake up and the whole side of bed would be wet. My face would be damp.
Are you sure that was the humidifier?
That fucking demon. Exactly.
Yeah.
He dropping spooky loads.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh my.
So yeah, like I said, we'll see. Full report. Stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah. Sure, everyone's waiting.
Yeah, probably. Exactly right.
It's good. You have to, for sure, not keep more than one can of that in the fridge.
Yeah, shit's tasty, isn't it?
Otherwise, I'm likely to just chain them.
Yeah, I mean, they sell them at Gordon's in 12 packs. Just to let you know, according to the website.
Okay. Sucks for me. That Gordon's right by me. Just it's closed now, so I got way out to Central.
I kind of thought about going out there and getting some just to have in my fridge outside.
Yeah, I'd like to find them a little cheaper because they were like $1.69 at Kroger, I think. And I mean that's not terrible, but I'd like to find them as close to $1.50 as possible.
I don't remember what they were going for. I don't know. People are like enthralled right now.
Who cares?
And they're like, what are you guys even talking about? Fuck you. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Boy, let me tell you something. I let out good old stupid bomber Saturday. And let's see here. Hold on. Sorry. Sold on Amazon. I know I found them at Gordon's because after I had it at work, I was like, where can I get these? That isn't work where I get, overcharged aggressively.
All of a sudden you're Tyrone Biggums, y'all got any more of that watermelon lemonades?
Right? I mean, the next time you and I were going to hang out, if you hadn't had one yet, I'm just going to buy some from work and bring them home so you can enjoy.
Nice.
So Gordon Food sells a 12-pack for $14.69.
Okay. So, all right. So that's cheaper than $1.69 a piece
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
So okay, maybe that's. Are they still the
Yep.
giant cans?
Looks like the tall boy can. Yeah.
Tall boys. All right. The big dumb
sparkling watermelon goodness. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I let Bomber out, and normally,
Yeah.
you know, because it's getting a little chillier out, you go to let her in. She's right there. I'm like, well, she wasn't there, and it's, you know, mid morning. So I started calling, like, she's behind the garage, fucking around, digging a hole, doing something. So like,
right, doing
dumb shit. So I call her name, and I could hear her like crunching through the leaves up the side of the garage. She comes around the back of Michelle's car, and I'm like, she carrying like a stick? Nah, big ass dead squirrel. Caught one slipping back there.
Oh boy!
I'm like, Bomber, drop it, and she just dropped it immediately on the ramp. And then
well, she's trying to bring it.
Yeah,
she's like,
she was like kind of like high stepping, because those squirrels always torment her.
Herself.
And I don't know what's going on for like compost pile back there, but I went behind my garage once, and there was like 3 squirrels in there fucking around. They all took off. So yeah, she like I said, caught one slipping. Got it. Now there's an ex squirrel that I had to throw onto a shovel, put in a garbage can. Yeah, all right.
Why? Take that thing inside and, you know, skin it up.
Good eats.
You know, get your cast there. Yeah, I was like, what are you doing, man?
I feel like she was acting like she was in trouble. And I'm like, I'm trying. It's like, no, you're fine. You know, like, you're just doing dog shit. But it was more like, I can't have you bring this in the house.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I could not believe that shit, though. Big ass squirrel.
Yeah. I could be worse, dude. I remember Jen told some, I don't remember on the Crazy Life or not, but you know, she had those 2 pits, and they decided to play tug of war with a cat once. I won't go any further than that, because that's enough. But yeah, I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling this.
Yeah. But you know, they love to bring you presents.
Well, I was telling.
My cats love to bring you birds and mice.
I was telling the story to my my old supervisor at work, because she's a big dog person, and she was like, "Oh God," because she has wiener dogs, and she was like, "There was one time we were sitting in the house, and we're like, where's I don't remember what her dog's name is, but where's such and such?" And she's like, "We went to like their, you know, she lives in one of those houses where they have a living room where they actually used, and like a nice living room." And she said the dog was on like the nice couch, like eating a rabbit. So there was blood everywhere. And
oh, jeez.
So at least it wasn't anything like that. It was just it was a very dead squirrel. There was no blood to shed or anything.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, that'll explain what she was doing. Yeah. So I said you can't really get mad because she's just doing dog shit.
I mean, she's back there digging. I'm gonna get mad, but it's like, she's a terrier. Terriers are rodent hunters.
Yeah.
And squirrels are rodents.
Like you said, you know, yeah. And they taunt.
Oh yeah, dude, they torment the shit out of the dogs. So
sure, yeah.
That'll learn them.
Yep. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, who knew, man?
Especially since you put it out there on a bike.
I had to set an example. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
That's a good time. Yeah. You know, it's weird. Like when I was talking with Heno, and he mentioned that he was going to be going to California next week, and I was like, you know, in my head I was going, wow, he's going home early for Thanksgiving, because I know he always goes home for Thanksgiving. And he goes, next week's Thanksgiving, and I was like, oh God, it is. And I was like, you know, I'm like, it's 60 degrees in the daytime here. I'm not thinking that I keep forgetting it's actually November, not just November. I mean, today we're recording this on the 14th of November. We're at the middle point of the month. And it does not at all feel, I mean, 63
it's
yesterday.
What, 70, I think, Thursday or something?
Yeah, it's like, you know, and we're in Michigan / Ohio. It's not supposed to be that warm here this time of year, you know? So it's wild. And it's like, yeah, my brain is not in, you know, hey, we're in like, you know, mid to late fall here.
Yeah, my first Thanksgiving is this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's like, oh yeah, I guess it is Thanksgiving already. So when I was at the store yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab some stuff now so I don't have to go out the week of Thanksgiving to fuss with that stuff, and just it's already done. And it's already on sale now too. Like a lot of the places are running their Thanksgiving prices on stuff. So it's like just just grab stuff and be done with it.
Pretty crazy though, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I absolutely wasn't even walking through Kroger yesterday, and I'm looking and I'm like, what? I'm like, God, they have a lot of turkeys out. And then I'm like,
yeah, it's mid-November.
Yeah. Like the great turkey sacrifices here,
Exactly.
So it just doesn't feel like it this year. It's so weird on the news yesterday. They showed how it was 63 yesterday, and they showed back in 2019 it was I think it was either, I can't remember if it was 8 or negative. I think it was -8 or something like that, and we had 4 inches of snow on the ground.
Yep, there you go.
Like meanwhile, I was running around yesterday in just a t-shirt. I mean, I had jeans on it and go shorts, but I could have. I just didn't. So yeah, but it's wild because like we're definitely, where you notice it is the second the sun starts to set, it drops like 10-15 degrees.
Going
like
to work this morning was cold as balls.
It was 32 degrees when I took the trash out this morning. Yeah, it was 63 yesterday and 32 overnight.
Despite the fact it's in the 60s in the afternoon, I remote start my car to defrost it.
Yeah. These were the days I remember back when I was in school that really sucked, because at the bus stop you had to have the coat and everything. By the end of the day, I'm like, God, I wish I could put shorts on.
Well, dude, you know what I rock?
It was 60.
T-shirt, vest, stocking cap. Boom.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That's my gimmick.
Yeah, that's what that's what I needed back when I was in school. But now I don't bother. Like yesterday.
I bought a vest for work last year because in the coldest part of the winter, one of our overhead doors broke, and it was right where I have to work all the time, or used to. And I froze my ass off. And I'm like, that day after work, I went out and I bought Long Johns. I bought this like vest. I bought all kinds of shit. And then we were, for some reason we're talking about vests over the weekend. And I was like, oh shit, I got that one in my locker. Because I mean, honestly, now that I got my new gig, I don't get in my locker anymore. I've got a desk where I keep my shit. So I'm like, oh shit, I got that vest in my locker still. So I brought it home. It's gonna be my mild weather vest until it gets real cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I know,
yeah,
right?
Makes sense.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, can't bitch about the weather though, because it is mid-November and we're still hitting the 60s. So I just gotta love it while it's here, because we know it isn't gonna last. It'll for sure fix itself at some point here. But whatever.
I'll do what I want. Oh man. We also watched a crazy movie over the week. I know I've got a big weekend thing to talk about, but it's going to take some time. We watched this crazy-ass movie on Saturday as well. Leah was here, thank God, because pet sitting Friday and Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Voices with Ryan Reynolds? Same.
No.
So we're trying to figure out something to watch, and I just find this Ryan Reynolds gig. I'm like, I like Ryan Reynolds. What a weird, interesting movie, Brian. He basically plays a serial killer in it. I mean, I guess, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's like his pets talk to him.
Oh, okay. Maybe I do remember this now. Because I think like when it came out, I was like, this is really weird.
I think it's...
Yeah, I do remember this now.
I think it's worth watching. I don't like...
Okay.
It was on, I think, Amazon maybe.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. It's on Prime Video. It's on Freevee.
Oh, there you go.
Also. So anyone in the U.S., you can watch it for free on Freevee.
I mean, I don't want to give too much away if anyone wants to watch it.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of handled his, like, mental illness in it, and it was interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I wasn't mad at it at all. It was kind of like in one of those odd movies where it's like, oh, there's a couple laughs here and there, but it's still like, oh God, Yeah.
Right.
Just saying.
Cool. And it's got a 6.3 out of 10 rating on Amazon or IMDb.
Yeah, so. I mean,
Apparently, it's trending up quite a bit right now too.
Oh, interesting.
So,
well,
yeah, it's moved up quite a few spots. Wow, it's got quite a few people in it. It's got Anna Kendrick is in it, and there's various other actors I've heard of in it. But yeah, it's mostly those two. But yeah, I do remember it now after seeing the box for it and stuff, and remembering him talking to the cat and the dog.
There's a scene in it that I was like, wow, that cat is fucking Hermie. Because the cat's just like, fuck you, food, fuck you, food. I'm like, oh, God, that is our cat in a nutshell. Yeah, right? I don't know if I love it, but.
Yeah. Oh, you love it.
Loving it. You know what else it is right now, Brian, besides almost Thanksgiving? Let me show you.
What's that?
I'm pouring myself another beer here. It's Hop Slam time, buddy. Oh boy.
I didn't realize it was Hop Slam time. Jeez, it makes sense though. It sure is.
I was just perusing Kroger's, picking up some odds and ends over the weekend. I was like, I'm like, well, let me just take a look at the beer aisle, and that was on the end cap. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to buy that.
Yeah.
Because it's the only time of year, you know. Yeah.
Yep. You are correct, sir.
But yeah, I guess getting into it, like our thing.
Oh. Well, hold on, really quick. Let's do the Avatar teaser real quick first, and then
we'll get into it.
Grab that. I actually have one other real quick thing first, but let's
do it.
Let's do the Avatar. So Netflix released the teaser for the Last Airbender Avatar, not Avatar as in the ones with like that James Cameron has done, but dude, I was so nervous when I saw a thing from Netflix and it was like tomorrow teaser, and I'm like, oh, here we are. Like, please be good, please, you know. And the first thing I saw was an image of Appa, and I was like, Appa looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I saw the other characters, and Momo was on top of Appa, and I'm like, Momo looks great. And everything, looking at the scene, I'm like, this feels like watching the show.
I got the trailer up right now for our YouTube people, and like when they pan across Ba Sing Se, and it looks like Ba Sing Se from the cartoon. That's where I was like, okay, you got me.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like visually, it looks really good. I was like, oh, this is. I'm so excited.
Way to go, M. Night Shyamalan,
and it's so funny.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, like screwing up a really good franchise.
Ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, well, not ruining it, but because I saw that movie before I actually watched the series.
Would you? Okay, that's it. Okay, hold on. See, I watched the series first. What did you think of that movie then?
Oh, it was trash. Okay. I hate it. When I'm watching it, I was like, I don't understand why everyone's angry other than it's just not a good movie.
Right.
But I didn't understand the anger. Now that I've seen the whole series, I would probably be wanting to set M. Night Shyamalan on fire if I saw that movie now. Because I don't know how you fuck up. Well, I do, because you're trying to cram too much into too little space, but he changed stuff
that changed.
They made the show. Yeah. Like this show, it needs to be a show. It doesn't need to be a movie.
For sure.
You know, because it needs time the characters need time to develop and grow. Because literally you're watching the maturation of Aang. But not just Aang, all of them.
Everybody's growing.
Yeah. All of Zuko and all of them. Yeah. You know, so you really need time for all of those arcs to play out. And, you know, obviously he's got to learn the different disciplines and, you know, and obviously they got to have struggles along the way and such. So it's like, and you've got to have that damn heartbreaking episode where Appa gets captured.
I mean, 100% if they would have made the Avatar movies again in a more current era, it would have been a trilogy because everyone jacks off about a trilogy.
Yeah.
And it still wouldn't have been long enough.
Yeah. No, probably not. Because really you'd almost need to make it 5 movies and have each movie be about one of the disciplines, basically.
For sure.
Yeah, or elements, you know. I think, but you know, and even then, really, you'd almost need one more for his ultimate fight with Emperor Fire Lord. Wow, I can't think of his name. Ozai?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like I'm completely blanked on it, but anyway, the main bad guy,
big baddie Fire Lord.
So. Yeah, Big Baddie Fire Lord. Yeah, I think that's what he went. That's what his vest said on the back. his entrance gear.
Big baddie Fire Lord.
Coming to the ring. Wing. Yeah. Yeah, I watched this trailer a few times and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty excited. The part that sucks is like you said when you first watched it, which was, man, we gotta wait till February.
Yeah, that is a bummer. Was it February 20-something or other? Wow, I don't know what is playing on this IMDb page now. We're gonna get away from this.
Yeah, I was really hoping that it was. I had forgotten that it was February. I was thinking it was, going to be like January.
Watching One Piece and how they treated that, and it's it was like a live action anime. It made me go, huh? Yeah. Well, what else can they do? And I completely forgot they're doing an Avatar show.
Yeah. That's why, because they announced them fairly close to one another, and I think a lot of people were really scared because of the backlash that Cowboy Bebop got from most of the diehards, where most people didn't seem to enjoy that live action version. So it was, but I've seen, I still haven't watched any of One Piece. And again, I've never watched the show, so I have no context going into that show, whether it's true, unless I look online for like shot by shot or something like that, But yeah, this looks good. I'm excited. And I was recently thinking about like doing another watch through of Last Airbender, and I'm like, well, with this coming out, I just won't. I'll just watch the show and just kind of see where I'm at after that if I want to do a watch through.
Here's what I'm going to say is if they end up, because I'm sure people are going to watch it, and I'm assuming hopefully they'll be able to play out the whole story.
I hope so too. That's my biggest fear, is it'll get like 2 seasons.
But all I'm saying is if they get towards the end of the series and they don't have the iconic "that's rough, buddy" moment, I'm going to be so pissed off.
Oh man. Yeah.
My girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest moments of that show.
It is. You're right. There's a lot of really funny stuff in there because of some of the episodes are really heavy. As I previously mentioned, Appa being captured episode. If you've never seen the show,
I'm kind of curious to see how it looks when he goes into like Avatar state.
Yeah, because all they really show is like the arrow on his head glowing. I'm curious to see that too, like when he's full on. I'm also curious to see like when they treat, like when he meets like when he's in the spirit realm or whatever, when he's like talking with the
last Fire Lord or last Avatar.
Yeah, the other avatars and stuff. And I just I'm just immediately excited to see moments
I kind of want to rewatch it now. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too. And then I was like, I'm just gonna wait. I'll watch this show and then I'll see where I'm at. Because, there's going to be a season of it, and it's going to be a full year before season 2. So that's the other part that's going to really stink, is that, like, when I watched the cartoon, it was done. So I was able to just go through the whole thing. I didn't have to wait year to year for episodes. Right. Now we got to wait in between seasons.
Now I'm looking forward to it. Said I legitimately
casting looks great.
I might have to talk to her and be like, we should rewatch Avatar. It might be our projector ceiling series as we're going to bed. That'd be fun.
Nice. The one thing I'm really, really curious of is whoever, I can't remember, like whoever they cast as Uncle Iroh, will he have the charm of the character?
He better be lovable.
I so hope so. Because if not, that could ruin.
If I don't want to get a hug and a kiss on the cheek from that guy, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. If you don't want to go to his tea shop, then
dude. So I'm sure you've seen that. I've got that golden or jade dragon tea shop shirt. You know how many people have asked me, like, where is that?
Yeah.
Well, you say, obviously.
Yeah. Like, what? Like, was that China? Yeah. Good shit. All right. So the one other thing I had was, did you see with the new Mortal Kombat how they're charging for like the fatalities.
No, I haven't paid attention to it. What?
Apparently in October they sold a Halloween fatality for what's in-game money, which is called dragon crystals with a K, of course, and that's course with a K. But so basically it looks like it was 1,200 dragon crystals, which 1,250 of them can be bought for $10 basically. And apparently people were getting more upset, or were getting upset because like Omni-Man is about to go on sale as the first DLC character. And it says, where is it? Warner Brothers is yet to announce the price for that bundle, but it's expected to be, where is it? I'm sorry. The new bundle is supposed to include the Halloween fatality as well as a Thanksgiving fatality and a winter fatality. And the price point is expected to be around $30.
Oh, yeah, see, this is gross.
And a lot of people are mad because they've already bought the Halloween DLC. And then now in this bundle, it's like, well, if I already bought it, I feel like I should get a discount on the bundle because I've already paid $10 here. So they're apparently giving away two fatalities for it.
This shit is gross.
Right? There's a lot of people really upset about
as they
this.
should be.
Yeah.
It's like you buy the game. Yeah. Like, okay, if you want to have characters as DLC, okay, I get that. But that
I have no problems with that.
Fatalities as DLC, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay with fatalities being included in a DLC, right? Like if you want to include them as part of a DLC pack, I don't have a problem. But to just sell fatalities, I mean, really
all it is they're piggybacking off of Call of Duty, because like, Call of Duty has the knife executions, and you can buy additional ones that are like different animations, and it doesn't change the game, which this doesn't change the game either.
It's just cosmetic, right?
But it's just the fact that it exists is gross.
Well, and like you said, right? It's like, I laid out $70 for this game, and you're going to charge me. And this is just this is for Omni-Man. You saw they showed, I forgot how many characters there's going to be. So if each main character is going to be part of a pack, it's like, is each one going to be $30?
See this,
and there's at least 5 or 6, I think, characters that they showed as additional ones. Like I expected it to be more like $30 and you get like all the characters,
right?
Like it's been in the past, or even like WWE. A lot of times with their games, they'll have a pack to where it's like 3 or 4 new wrestlers for $10 or $15, right? Then they'll put out another one, and usually there's some cosmetic garbage that goes with it too. And along with those characters, sometimes you get like new moves or whatever. But they add other shit in there, and it's like, okay, fine, whatever. But to be like, that's one of the things I was looking at. I was like, do you only get Omni-Man and then these fatalities? That's insane to me to pay $30 for one character and a few fatalities.
That is insane.
Like if you gave me 3 characters and some fatalities, I'd have less issue, but that's still a lot.
Yeah, see, like I said, it's just gross to me.
I mean, I'm not buying Mortal Kombat anyway, but I don't like setting this kind of precedent, because if it does well, other games are going to do more of it. And I know games are doing it anyway. This is going to be
the trend.
You know what I mean?
Like I like Mortal Kombat. Really, I kind of thought about buying it because I have Mortal Kombat 11. I enjoyed it. I beat it. I sometimes still fire it up and play it. And I was like, oh, MK1, okay. But with that being said, I don't know if I want to even touch it.
Right. Because I was excited when they mentioned like Omni-Man and Homelander, and so I was like, these are going to be kind of cool, And then when I see that, I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
I'm not a. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, makes me less.
Exactly.
Excited.
I'll just look at the fatalities on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if the game becomes free or something, I'll for sure grab it. But otherwise,
like, give me more games like Elden Ring or Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man's got 1 million cosmetics in it that you unlock by playing the game. Whatever happened to that shit?
I can even live with having a few that are like exclusive, or they're exclusive for X amount of time, and then eventually you can buy them in the store or something like that. I'm cool with that. I'm with you. It's like I think the price point bothers me a lot too. Because like I said, in WWE you get 3 or 4 characters for like $15.
And I mean,
in this it's like, okay, the fatalities are not worth that much money.
And I've heard, because Mortal Kombat, you play online against other people, blah blah blah. I've heard Omni-Man's like a broken character.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock. I mean,
he kind of should be. So, because like dog on Fortnite all you want, and I haven't played in a while, but at least with all their DLC, it's all cosmetic. There's nothing that's game breaking in it. I feel like if you get Omni-Man and then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to play online, you might just have the benefit of having a better character than people that don't spend the money. Right.
Well, really, that's an easy fix, which is either don't allow Omni-Man for online play, or make it to where, like, if you have Omni-Man and you choose him, basically filter it to where somebody else, you only play other people that have Omni-Man. That way, if they also want to play him. I run into that with that wrestling game I played, where it's a free to play game, air quote. You know how it is, all those games, they're free to play, but you for sure get rewarded if you're a person who spends money. You get better characters, blah blah blah, and it's annoying as shit, because they'll be like, oh, you go against whatever, and I'm like, oh great, I get to match up with all these premium level characters that I can't beat because they're S tier, and literally in the game it's S tier, and my guys are all, even if they're S tier, they're
like lowercase s.
Yeah. Yeah, S for stupid.
Dude, that's what a t-shirt we need. Salty Language, lowercase S tier podcast.
Yeah. Accurate.
Yeah, like I said, man, I don't really play Fortnite that much anymore, but that's the one thing I will give them, is their DLC isn't game breaking.
I remember us talking about this years ago when EA really was getting bagged on. I think for Battlefield,
loot boxes and shit.
Remember, and we said the same thing. It was like, I don't care if it's cosmetic shit. I don't care if you run around with a flashy golden gun. I could give a shit. But if you can buy a gun that is superior to anything I can get by unlocking, I don't even like the concept of, oh, you can unlock it sooner by buying it.
And that's what they do with Call of Duty. Like, you can grind it, or you can buy levels.
Right. But there are people who just grind out the really good stuff. And it's like, well, as long as you have that option, I can't bitch. True. But you know what I mean? Like, I can't bitch as long as the same weapons are available to everybody. Or as long as the weapon, even if you sell individual weapons, it's like just as long as they're not like you were saying about Omni-Man. If Omni-Man's broken, that's going to make me not want to play online with other people. If all I'm going to do is get my ass kicked by Omni-Man left and right. Because it's going to take me back to the original Mortal Kombat and everybody wanted to play Scorpion. And it's like, okay, you can just, jump, throw the spear. I get uppercut. Yeah, jump, throw the spear. It's like, I get it. This character is hard to beat because it's sort of broken, Or, Sting in WCW NWO Revenge, when he starts the damn match with a bat.
Well, that's the thing with the Call of Duty, like, Jesus Christ, dogs. The Call of Duty, like, battle passes.
What if that's Michelle? Maybe she hasn't cut her toenails.
Clever girl. Is, yes, you do get some guns you can unlock, but there is certain weapons in that game that you can only unlock if you buy the battle pass. And it's like, well, what if I don't want to buy it? What if I want to play it for free? Oh, I guess I don't get to have this sweet gun.
Now, see, that's the way I feel like if you're going to do that, my feeling on that is, like, months down the road, make those available. I don't think they do either. But that see what I mean? It's like, if you do that, because they've done that in God, what game was it? I think it was one of the Batman games where, how, like, you could buy a bunch of the things, but it was like, if you pre-ordered through Best Buy, you could only get, like, the Batman animated series suit. But then, like, months down the road, they'd finally add them to the store. To where it was like, you'll get it eventually, but it might be 6 or 8 months, which typically by then you're done with the game, So it's still your incentive to get it up front. But if you don't, eventually, it'll become available, and then you can actually purchase it with monies if you want to, so you can roam around like, you're in the animated series. That I don't have any problem with, but I'm with you. I don't like any of this stuff to where it's like the only way you can get it is by buying the battle pass or whatever it is, or premium level. It bugs the shit out of me, because so many people cannot afford to do that. I mean, some can. I mean, especially, but a lot of them are. It's like the battle passes are not like $3. Battle pass are what, like $15 or $20? I think it is.
Like
and that's like
when I first
season,
bought Modern Warfare, I got it from the store. I downloaded it digitally, and I think it came with Call of Duty bucks or whatever you want to fuck. Yeah, so I was like, it's a little bit more, and I'll do the battle, and I got the battle pass. But like me, I don't have time to sit there and just play.
Also that.
So it was a waste of money.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I hear you, because I'd be the same way. Not that I don't have time. I'm just not gonna sit there and
rewind
play
15 years ago when you and T and like Scott and I would all every Friday we'd hop online and play some Call of Duty.
Grind it out.
Like if we still did that, I'd probably get the battle pass because it'd be worth it to me. But I don't even play those shooters anymore. Like I got guys at work that are like, dude, you get a new Call of Duty? Nah. Nope. I learned my lesson. I bought Modern Warfare, and I mean, it's every once in a while I kind of feel like playing one of those shooters, but enough people play Battlefield. I'll just hop on the Battlefield. Because, once the new Call of Duty comes out, the old one just dies, Yeah.
Well, that's what I was telling my brother, because he was talking about how he was at a garage sale and somebody had like a stack of Call of Duties and they only wanted, they wanted like $2 a piece. And I'm like, they're not worth it. I'm like, nobody's playing those. I'm like, people play the newest one and maybe the last one. They may go a little further back if there's like a favorite one. Like, remember World at War for a while.
I was about ready to say 100%. I would still play World at War because that shit was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and even was it Black Ops? I think it was the first one. Even after a couple more came out, people kept going back playing Black Ops because they were the boards and stuff people loved. So, but it's rare. Most of the time, it's only the newest one, maybe the previous one, if they don't love the newest one. Like when they put out that one where you could like climb walls and do all sorts of.
Oh my God, it came out of nowhere.
But when they were doing that, when things got kind of wacky, I remember a lot of people reverted to like the previous one because they were like, this
isn't Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but whatever. And that's why I pointed out earlier on in this, it was like, look, I'm not buying Mortal Kombat no matter what. I just don't like this concept in gaming. Because like you said, it's like, I mean, I don't mind spending more money on a game for long-term stuff. Like, like a good, like GTA, right? Like, it's like we've played GTA now for years. So if they had put out their DLCs and said, hey, it's $10, I would have been fine with that and going, well, you know what? I don't have to buy a new one of it every year kind of a thing. So I don't mind spending a little more, to where when I'm done, maybe I'll have spent $120, but that's no different than if I bought one this year and one next year. Right. So it's like, that doesn't bother me so much, but because you've asked me that before with the sports games, like, hey, if they put out Madden and then each year you just bought an update, I'd be like, oh, I'm totally in on that. I don't want to have to buy, and I won't. I've talked about it plenty on here, where I won't buy it every year because they don't change that much, and I don't care that much about the new rosters because I always do fantasy draft anyway, so it doesn't really even matter, So and this isn't like I don't think this is even like an old man thing because, like you said, even like if you go back to when we were really playing a lot and all the time. This still would have chapped my ass.
Yeah.
For sure. I would have been the same as like you said. It'd be like, well, maybe I'll buy the game, but I'm not buying this DLC.
Yeah.
Because I'm not paying for fatalities.
I don't care how cool they are.
Silly. Not that much. If fatalities were like $2, sure, that's a little different. I can see people like kind of microtransaction it a little more. I think people, and I understand it could probably cost them a lot to come up with these fatalities, but it's still like, I don't know, man. $10 for
it's a lot of money. Yeah, I got you. Fuck you.
And $30 just to get in
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No, here's one thing I am curious about though, and then we can move on. When Homelander comes out, is Homelander going to be more broken than Omni-Man or not? Because when you look at like their powers within what they're supposed to have, I mean, they're similar characters.
Right.
Actually, I think Homelander has more powers, but I don't know if he's more powerful.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see, I guess.
I mean, if they can't beat Superman from Injustice, where he would pick you up into orbit and then take you for the whole planet. I mean,
that was great. That was so good. Yeah. Yep. All right. So now let's do a quick break. Then we'll come back and finish.
That's a great idea because I got to piss hard. All right.
Me too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we'll be ready. Here we go. Go.
There we go. We're good. We're back, baby.
Yep.
Man, that was a fascinating piss. Felt great. Fascinating, yes.
You say. Oh, all right. That's not normally a word I would use for that.
I do. All
right.
So yeah, for me, Brian, over the weekend, Michelle finally got to use her Christmas present. Yeah, because we went and saw one free hug. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went Friday and Sunday and saw fucking Metallica. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. It was amazing.
Dude, I saw so many people I know post that they were at one or both of those shows. By far the most FOMO causing was the Jono Diener and his brother Nick. Jono being a previous enthusiast guest. Him and his brother got like last minute, like fucking front row. Like he posted a video where he's just recording over his shoulder and Robert Trujillo is just fucking crushing it on bass right above him. And Hetfield's over by him at one point, and I was like, God damn, I'm so jealous. I'd love one time to be right.
Well, they said both nights, they're like, we've been playing in Detroit for 40 years. We are gonna be back. So yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the only way they won't be is when they just finally hang it up.
It's like, like we saw them in that college theater or college arena, and they didn't have the full experience down there. Dude, seeing the full Metallica show is insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got a long-ass concert, but you're right. They didn't have all the gimmicks and everything at the time. Yeah, it was pretty much a stripped down, but it was, 3.5 hours of Metallica just playing everything.
Yeah, and it was, it was fucking great.
I bet. How was Pantera?
Dude, crushed it.
Yeah, as much as I love Metallica, I wanted to see Pantera because I never got to see him when they were, when Vinny and Dimebag
I have serious regrets that I never went and saw them.
I don't know how you and I never saw Pantera,
Brian, because I was looking at I found some website. I can't remember what I was looking for, but I found some website that was called Set List. And you could pull up venues. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna look at the sports arena because I was trying to think of concerts I went to, and I started going back in time and looking at bands that played at the sports arena and the years. Like when Pantera, the last time they came through Toledo at the sports arena, like Logan was 2. So I was dirt ass poor with a baby.
No, that one I can understand, but I mean more like when we were teenagers. I don't know how we didn't go see. Because I know they came through here. I remember hearing, or even Detroit.
Brian's because we
especially
suck.
Once you were driving. I mean, yeah, I think you're correct.
But yeah, Pantera killed it. Phil still sounds great. And it was awesome to see Zakk Wylde play.
Now, here's a question for you, because I've only I've watched some videos online, but did it feel like Pantera or did it feel like someone playing Pantera?
It kind of felt like playing guitar. It wasn't quite Dimebag vibes, but I mean, he's obviously a talented guitarist.
Well, what he said he was doing was instead of saying this is me playing Pantera, he was listening to how Dimebag played and was trying to basically play. I mean,
it's close, but it's not. It's not. It's still Zakk Wylde, which, by the way, with his giant beard and all his hair, he looks like a Jim Henson creation. 100%.
That's fair.
Yeah,
he might be. He
But
might.
let me
Yeah.
rewind, because Friday I worked.
Okay.
And basically I got off of
Right.
work, came here, changed our clothes, and we left. Because,
Right.
doors open at 4:30. My parking started at
Yeah.
3, which everything was so expensive. But when I bought the tickets, Michelle wasn't as like, I mean, I hate to use the word disabled, but disabled,
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't want to be that guy, but I was very
Yeah.
curious
So
how this was going to work
like
out.
months ago, I
Yeah.
called Ford Field and I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I bought these tickets, but now like with her, like stairs and standing for long periods of time don't work. She has like a wheelchair for those events.
Yeah.
So
Right. Which you knew you had seats, though.
Right.
You weren't
No,
in
I
general
had
admission
seats.
or anything, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I called and I'm like,
okay.
what can we do here? Because when I bought these, there, a wheelchair wasn't in the picture. Now it is. And they're like, oh, just show up and talk to one of our ticket people at the, either gate A or gate G, and they'll get you like an ADA seat. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's first come, first serve. So I'm like,
yeah. No, was there any sort of upcharge for that? Just
nope.
No,
There shouldn't
good.
be.
There shouldn't be.
Which I mean, shout out to Ford Field with how awesome they were, and I'll get to that. But so we get home, we leave immediately. I hadn't eaten at all because on Fridays I skip lunch so I can leave earlier. Especially when we're trying to get to Detroit.
Yeah.
So
and like you said, it was first come first serve.
I
so
wanted to be there
right
when the doors
away.
opened.
Yeah.
Sure. We're driving up. We stopped through Burger King, which I haven't had in a while. Which shout out lawn chicken sandwich, still delicious.
They did not the Italian one.
But like I was looking at what they had, and I'm like, I need a sandwich that like I'm like the dick like shape is perfect for driving.
And
I mean, honestly,
yeah, it's hard to navigate a Whopper while you're driving. I've seen my dad used to get similar situations.
The chicken cock shit sandwich is perfect. So that hit, which was nice, and the traffic, of course, was fucking insane. And because
it's Friday,
it's
5
rush
o'clock,
hour going into Detroit.
Right, I was like, everybody else is trying to drive
except
out
for
of
all
Detroit
the Metallica
to go home,
idiots.
probably. Yes, right.
And it was the traffic was insane. And like I reserved my parking ahead of time because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Which that was like $40 per day. But if you want to park right by the stadium, it was like $130 per day.
Yeah, so
and it was like 6 blocks away, and I'm like, whatever,
also...
I'll walk. It's fine,
Right.
But dude, we're walking up, and I'm pushing her, and I got we're getting up to Ford Field, and like I see this huge line. I'm like, oh fuck. This is gonna suck.
Yeah.
As we're wheeling by, like this door kicks open and this like little black lady comes out. She's like, whoa, you! And she points at me. I'm like, whoop. She's like, here, and she just like moved the gate, and she just kicked us to the front line. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And like I looked, and there was like probably like 20 different people that were like had crutches or wheelchairs but for some reason she put us right in the front.
I guess wheelchair. Well, I was going to say maybe. Oh, well, you said wheelchair though. I was going to say maybe wheelchair trumps crunch.
I don't know.
Crutches. I guess. I don't know.
So it's like we got in, and we got strip searched basically, of course, naturally.
Nice.
And then I found like there's like a ticket consulting table or something, and I talked to a woman there, and she's like, "Oh, just fill this out, and then I'll take you to where you need to go." And she took me to the box office, and the little one's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. Just where are you guys sitting?" And I'm like, oh, row 3, whatever, or section 333 or something. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to put you right here. And they were better seats.
So that was the next question I was going to ask was, is it like, do they have like, like each level has handicap, and it's like, well, you're getting similar seats.
It was like, if we were in our seats, we would have been back behind us like 5 rows. But instead we were down on the floor with zero entry, right on the rail, no one in front of us,
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that in your pictures. It looked like you were right on the rail. So
everywhere they had, I mean, the way they set up the stage, there really wasn't a bad seat in the house. It's like right in the middle of the field.
I think. And that makes the most sense when you're doing that kind of setup, because otherwise, you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are just going to stare at their backs the whole time unless they stare at the screen. And that really sucks. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been to a pro wrestling show, but when you're on the opposite of camera, they always face the camera side, right? House shows are different because there's no camera, so they do everything all over. But if you're at like Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view, they face the camera whenever they talk because camera, so if you're on the opposite side, you're staring at their backs the whole time. It kind of sucks. Tickets are usually easier to get, but
Yeah, I mean, for those, if anyone follows me on Instagram, or whatever, but the stage is set up like a ring. Yeah, because in the middle was the snake pit. And it was, I don't know, it was a cool stage. Not for everybody. I'll get to that too, but yeah, it was. I can't say enough about Ford Field and how well they like treated us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was perfect. It was no issue at all. I was expecting like a problem. That's why I wanted to get there right away. And even the lady at the box office was like, "Are you coming back Sunday?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Come see me. Don't even go to that other table. Just come see me." I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "That's absolutely." And she remembered us, So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she put us in the exact same seats Sunday.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah.
So.
All right.
But I mean, yeah, dude, the show was amazing. I mean.
Yeah. I don't see how it couldn't be. I mean,
it was interesting because like Mammoth. WVH.
Oh yeah, Wolfie Van
Halen's band opened, and I kind of respect it.
I was wondering because I was like, I imagine there's probably one more band because when you said 7:00, I'm like, Metallica's probably not going on till like 8:30.
Well, it started at 6. I thought it was 7. It was 6.
Oh,
yeah,
6. Okay, all right.
And like they came on stage and there was like nothing. Like the lights dimmed briefly, and then they just started playing. And I'm like, at first I thought it was like the roadies like tuning up. And I'm like, oh.
Well, remember when we were in Kentucky? That's how the concert actually started because we were like, because the roadies came out and we're like, who is this? Like, are these the openers? And then they like just did a couple things and then they walked off and we're like, all right. And then Metallica came out. And we were like, okay,
this is the show.
Getting to Metallica. Yeah, we're just nobody else. It's all Metallica tonight.
I kind of respect Mammoth because they just they had no light show. They just kind of lit the stage and they just played.
Oh, really?
And like I've never really heard him play. He kind of looks like that like fat dude from Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, to do jams, and there was a guy that was loving it.
Oh, he's great. He's really good.
There was
their stuff's not really for me, but yeah, he's
really
I mean,
good. I wasn't mad at it. Like I don't know if I'm gonna track it down and listen to it, but if it came across my Spotify, that's cool. But there was a guy that his whole shirt was Eddie Van Halen's guitar. That pattern, that red of the
yeah.
His wallpaper on his phone, because you could see his phone. That's how big it was the same pattern. And this dude was loving it.
Well, I mean, hey, whatever, right? I mean, it's even better if you go and you also like the opening band, because most of the time, like most of the concerts we've been to, a lot of times we're like, who are these people? Like, never heard of the openers.
Well, and that's what I told Michelle.
Especially the first act. The second act, a lot of times but that first act, they'll just find some local band and let them open or something like that, which is also cool, right?
Well, and it's like I told that to Michelle because I'm like, honestly, for getting the 2-day experience, it wasn't much more money.
Yeah.
But I was like, but if I had to make a choice, I would pick Friday because I wanted to see Pantera.
Amen. Yeah, if I had to pick one of the two shows, Friday for sure was the one, because Five Finger Death Punch is fine,
I've seen them before.
I haven't, and I don't really.
They're
care.
all right.
But Pantera is a band. Even with the newer thing, it's still. I'd rather see Pantera if I had to pick between.
I mean, Mammoth was cool, but when Pantera came out, dude, they fucking crushed. Like I said, Phil still has his voice. He was running around on stage with no shoes on, just barefoot. But I mean, and they played, the hits. They had a moment where you could do they usually do when the band's got to take a quick breather, and they did like Cemetery Gates and had like a montage of Vinny and Dimebag on the screens.
Nice. And sure.
But I mean, they crushed. And now that you mentioned that Lamb of God and Pantera are announcing a tour, I can't wait. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that may be something we have to see if we can figure
for
out.
sure.
Because I would love to go see Lamb of God.
Yeah,
too,
I'd love to see Lamb of God.
And I've already made clear how much I'd love to see Pantera.
I mean, and if it's somewhere local, I mean, I got a buddy of mine that that he's a huge Lamb of God fan. I'm sure he'd be down to go too.
Yeah. Right.
Let me tell you one thing I didn't like was the prices at Ford Field.
Well, that's not surprising.
I got a tall boy of all day IPA. If I would have thrown down $2 more at the grocery store, I could have got a 15 pack.
Oh my God.
It was insane. The prices were insane.
Well, captive audience, right?
Like I got a bottle of Coke for Michelle, $7.
Oh my God. I haven't been to anything like that in a long. Well, in fairness, I'm also used to more of like Huntington Center, Fifth Third Field prices, which are usually a little lower than the big boys prices.
Like when we went Sunday, we made a mistake. So we're trying to get shit done around the house, and we had to go. We didn't eat lunch, so we got there. I'm like, we gotta get some food. And right by where we were sitting, they had a big boy set up. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, let's get some big boy. So I'm like, I looked at the prices. I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna get whatever. So we got 2 big boys and a bottle of Coke. Right.
Yeah.
Total comes to $29.
Oh my God.
I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like my asshole hurt immediately. And,
oh my God, you could have probably bought. That's almost like 3 big boys.
We get back to the seats. I open up the bag. It's just the burgers. There's no fries in there. I crack open the sandwich. There's no tartar sauce.
What?
I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my God, I would have probably been.
It was insane. The prices were insane.
Good God. Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? But
well, yeah, because it's like, because it's either that or you choose for like whatever the air quote cheapest fare would be, which would probably be hot dogs that are probably $6 a piece or $7.
They did have a hot dog deal that was like a hot dog, chips, and a pop for like $14.
That's so not.
I know, but that was the deal.
And I'm not even comparing that to like Costco, but I'm just thinking of just normal, like typically at a ball game, if you go buy a hot dog and a bag of chips and I guess it's going to be close to that probably. Hot dog's probably $5, bag of chips probably $3, and then it pops.
Dude, watching
$6.
people around me, they had to drop hundreds of dollars on drinks.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
When we've been to like when me and T were at Huntington Center, there was a dude that had like oh shit, I forgot what it's called. Where you stack
the
cups
snake or whatever.
Yeah, that dude probably had like 8 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
And they were all his. No one around him was drinking beer. Those were all his. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. I'm like, how much are you spending on beer tonight?
Everything.
It's like, God, it's like, did you go out to watch wrestling or did you go out to get hammered? Because if you just wanted to get hammered, you should have just stayed home and got hammered for $20 instead of paying for your ticket and all this beer. You're probably laying out $100, but hey, whatever. It ain't my money.
So here's the thing that was a negative about sitting in like the ADA area. Was it's right off the concourse. So as soon as music started playing, people just file out there and just like you got people standing right behind you. And it's like, it would be great if someone would shush these fuckers away, or even worse, people just set up shop in the chairs.
Yeah.
Because like we had a lady came in a wheelchair next to us. I think Michelle was in the bathroom or something, and I was like talking to her, and she was like, I'm like, I can't believe that, there's just like people are just taking whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, this happens all the time at concerts. She's like, people just take over like the disability area. I'm like, man, that is some bullshit.
They need a security guard over there.
Dude, like Sunday, I was like, I told Michelle, I'm like, I'm glad I'm not like heavily drinking because I probably want to start fighting people, because it was getting bad.
Understandable. Well, especially, man. I mean, like, Sunday, I was like, that walk comes on, man. I mean, if I've had a few beers, I get a little randy.
Like, it's no joke. Sunday, I came back from like, Michelle was like, hey, can you get me a drink? I'm like, yeah. And I got a way overpriced beer. And I came back and there's a dude just there. And I just like stepped right in front of him and like threw some shit out of cup holder. I'm like, here you go, babe. And he was like, oh man, I can't believe, because I like the folding chairs that used to be there, I folded up and moved. And he was like, I can't believe someone gave away my chairs. And I'm like, oh, is this your seat? And he's like, yeah, I messed up my knee. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And I went, because I was just like, I was standing by her because people would just come up and stand like just right there. It's like, get the fuck away from us,
Yeah.
man. Like if you were in your seat anywhere else, people wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah,
go
that's
away.
understandable.
You know?
Yeah. Go to your seats.
Yeah, don't you have a seat somewhere?
Yeah. Like, I know you aren't standing room only. Like, go there's seats, or there's GA. Well, GA is probably more now. Remember, GA used to be the cheapest ticket. If you wanted to sit, you had to pay more money.
Dude,
now it's the opposite, like down on the floor, no matter what it is, if it's general admission or not, the floor is more expensive.
I had that revelation as I was sitting there watching the show, and I'm like looking at the floor, and I was like, I don't miss that, but I miss that because it's a totally different energy down there than sitting in the stands.
Like, I don't want to be like up front or really like in a pit, but I would really rather be
like
on the
that
floor.
mob mentality of the crowd.
Yeah,
it is a different animal.
It is.
You know?
Yep. I hear you.
But yeah, I mean, and they played anything you probably want. Yeah, they played a lot of shit. And you know, I mean,
I saw the set list from day 2 because one of the deaners posted it on there. I think they got the set list, or they saw the set list, whichever it was. So I saw that one. I didn't see Friday's set list.
I mean, like, I was surprised Sunday because they played some shit off of Saint Anger. I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when we saw them, they played a lot off of Saint Anger. Or no, not Saint Anger. I'm sorry. Fuel and Refuel, which we were kind of like, you know. But then they also were like, oh, here's some shit from Kill 'Em All. And we're like, nice. And remember, most of the people around us were like, what is this? Like, is this new? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like the oldest shit, you know?
It was great, though. Before they played the stuff off of Saint Anger, Hetfield's like, well, next we're going to play a song off of one of your guys' favorite albums, and he just winks.
Yeah.
But I like Saint Anger. I'm not going to lie.
Well, a lot of the people that shit on that, it's because of Lars and the drum choices he made on there. Because I've heard there's a lot of people on YouTube where they've taken the song, taken him out, and put in like a different drum, and it changes it, and it's better. But there's something about that album.
It feels like a dirty garage album to me. That's why I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it, I thought there's a special place on that album because that's the first like Hetfield getting sober album. And, that was his, like, I wrote a lot of this shit while I was in rehab kind of thing. That was really him purging the demons. And so I liked it. I didn't have a problem.
Although
with
they
it.
had this weird moment on Friday. And like, it just seems so strange to me. They're like, we're going to play some off of one of our older albums, Kill 'Em All. You guys familiar? And everyone's like, and they're like, Seek and Destroy. And they start playing it. And then all these giant beach balls drop. And I'm like, what weird juxtaposition is this?
Yeah. Like, wait, who am I seeing?
Because Sunday they did the...
Is this Beach and Destroy?
Well, like Sunday they did a beach ball drop too, but they played they played Whiskey in the Jar, and I'm like, this feels more appropriate because that's kind of like a more fun. I know it's a song about a guy that likes fighting and going to prison and shit, but it seemed more appropriate than Seek and Destroy.
Yeah. Also, good nod from them playing a Seeger song in Detroit. So,
oh no, they didn't. They didn't play. They didn't play Turn the Page.
Oh, they didn't play
Whiskey in the Jar.
Yeah, my fault. I'm backwards.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously Friday was amazing. We left. We didn't eat dinner. The only thing I ate that day was the chicken cock sandwich. So
and the beer.
So I'm like, we're driving home, and I'm like, we got to get something to eat.
Yeah.
So we're looking for anything that says open 24 hours off the house. Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, well, they got a Big Boy. If we get to town, we haven't found anything. Big Boy's open. But we hit Monroe, IHOP.
Well, not necessarily. They're not open 24 hours all the time now.
There you go.
On the weekends, probably. But I think through the week, I don't think they're open 24 hours anymore.
We hit Monroe, IHOP, open 24 hours. I'm like, fuck yeah. So we go to IHOP. And are you aware, Brian, IHOP is no longer open 24 hours a day?
No, but I'm not shocked because COVID really killed the 4 hours.
Like we got in and sat down at like 12:40, and you could tell they were kind of like, huh. But there's people in there, and like people wearing Metallica shit. So other people had the same. And then we started hearing the people working, going like, I don't know where all these people are coming from. And then they're like, we close at 1, and they started kicking people out that are walking in.
Oh,
and I honestly felt bad because I don't like doing that to restaurants. But on the highway, it says open 24 hours.
Right. Well, if right as you walk in, if they tell you, you can be like, what is the fastest thing you can make? Like, is it pancakes, eggs, and bacon? What? Like, give me that. Like, I just need to get some shit in my belly. Or hell, I mean, even if it's a sandwich and like I can go sit in the parking lot and eat a sandwich or something.
Like, if I would have known, we probably wouldn't have stopped there. But they didn't say anything when we walked in. It was when 1 o'clock hit and they started kicking people out.
Which is understandable. You got to have a cutoff.
But dude, IHOP at 1:30 in the morning or whatever fucking hits. It was delicious.
Yeah. The last time I had IHOP was at like 3 in the morning.
Oh, dude, it was exactly what I needed, and it got us home. And we didn't get home till like 2 something. You know.
Yeah.
And then Sunday wasn't much better. Like Sunday was a different lineup. Do you know what Ice 9 Kills is?
Yeah,
okay.
I've heard
Guy I
of
work with was pretty excited I was going. He likes them.
Yeah.
They were okay. Yeah. Like the first song that played, Michelle and I looked at each other and were like, this is like Fall Out Boy with metal screaming.
Yeah.
Right?
I've heard a couple of their songs, and it's for sure not my scene. Yeah.
Some of their other songs were they got me. They were like, oh, these are cool songs. But the one thing I like about it is the dudes in the horror movies.
Yeah.
And like all of their music videos and their music kind of like is like a story almost.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not built for the ring stage. Because they have a stage show.
Uh-huh.
And it's just not, it doesn't work with that much stage.
That's understandable.
You know?
Yeah.
And, Five Finger Death Punch was Five Finger Death Punch. Like, so I've seen them before. If you like Five Finger Death Punch, then they did a good job.
Right. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I ain't mad at them. I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but I'm not mad at them either.
Like the lead singer's very charismatic. He knows how to work the crowd.
Yeah.
Now,
were they able to work the
they played the stage fine.
Okay.
You could tell they have way more experience than
it also is if I'm not mistaken, Pantera and Five Finger Death Punch are they're touring at all the spots basically with them, or most of the spots. I don't know if Ice 9 Kills and was it WVH or whatever? Yeah. I don't know for sure if they are. So
I don't know either.
It's possible that maybe they are a little more like, we're not going to come up with a whole thing because we're only doing like 3 shows with them.
Yeah. Because Pantera was like, this is our last, date in the U.S. You know? So I was like, oh, awesome. And actually, that was the last Metallica date in the U.S. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that. I saw Metallica posted that on something I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, obviously the show was amazing.
Yeah.
Did
they give you the option? I know they were doing this on the last tour. I don't know if they're still doing it. Did they give you the option of getting like a DVD or a CD of your MP3, whatever, of the concert?
Not that I'm aware of, but that'd be awesome.
Okay, because they were doing that on the last tour, and I was like, this is so cool because you can literally get the show you were at. Right. So if you got the DVD or whatever, or I think it was a DVD, you could watch it and be like, we were there.
I was there. Holy shit.
Yeah, it'd be kind of a cool thing for that. Yeah, I don't know if, like in this case, I don't know if you would get the Pantera and or if it was just Metallica, but whatever.
I would assume just Metallica, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool though.
If they offered it, I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the Sunday show was amazing, of course.
Right.
And it's just like it made me go, man, I need to go to more concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like Michelle, that's why we were talking about vests. We were talking about making metal battle jackets with the patches and shit. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. Maybe it reignited my thirst for a concert.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a concert to that scale, because that's probably one of the bigger venues I've seen a concert in, honestly. Because I go to like a lot of smaller shows.
Yeah, I was trying when you and I talked about that a little bit about this being a bigger venue, and I was trying to think of what the biggest venue I saw a show at, and I was like, most of the concerts I've seen were at the sports arena.
Yeah.
I think I saw, I can't remember who it was. I went with somebody. I feel like we went up to like the Palace I think I've seen one concert in the Palace, but it was a long time ago. But otherwise, I think it's been almost all Savage Arena. What do you call it? Well, no, I haven't seen a concert at Huntington Center,
Yeah,
but
same.
Sports Arena. So, or Pine Knob, I've been to Columbus a few times, but the Pine Knob's not a big venue. It's a small venue. You're not seeing Metallica at Pine Knob,
No.
Or DTE Music Center or whatever the hell it's called now.
I mean, I was talking to, because the guy that gave me the beers, like yesterday, I basically came home and went to sleep. I was so tired.
Oh, I bet.
I didn't get home to 1 something. I got up, I went to work. It was rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I had that midday sparkling ice.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, did you get into that beer? And I'm like, dude. And I told him, he's like, oh, yeah. And then he was like, first time I saw Metallica was at Savage Arena in 1993 watching the Black Album. Wow. Nice. He was like, it was the first concert I ever went to without my parents. I'm like, well, you picked a hell of a concert.
That's a good one. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Way better than the first concert I went to without my parents, because mine was Young MC, Biz Markie, Milli Vanilli show.
I mean, that's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but
I was excited about Biz Markie and Young MC.
Yeah,
Milli Vanilli was whatever, but the show was entertaining. Everything was entertaining, But
here's what was confusing though: is like on Friday after Pantera gets done, like it was a long gap before Metallica came on. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And like, I'm looking at the stage and there's no drum kit set up.
Oh, wow. They still hadn't set up.
And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. And then it was like, this big, and they start playing AC/DC and showing all these different Metallica pictures, for those about the rock. You look at the stage and it opens up and a drum kit comes out of the ground.
Oh,
and they did that 4 times. The drum kit popped out in 4 different spots on the stage.
Really?
So every time like the band took a little 2-minute break, it was, and then the drum kit would come with this crazy music playing, and then the lights would come up and they're over there.
That's so that they can move around to different parts.
And they kind of moved around the whole time anyway, but it was
Well, that's cool though, because otherwise you literally have to pick one spot for your drummer to sit the whole time.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucked. Like I was saying earlier, you're staring at Lars's back the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's cool to move it so everybody can kind of.
It was cool to see him at the end of the show too, because you could tell they love their fans.
Yeah, I've seen decent video. Again, one of the Deaners, he posted at the end where Lars has got a couple of drumsticks, and you can tell him and Fielder talking with the fans and stuff.
Oh yeah, they were giving out so many picks, and it was.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, depending on the price, of course.
Yeah, right.
See them again. No, it's not even depending on price. I would see them again.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
They're one of the bands that I would probably see as long as I feel like they're still sounding like Metallica.
Dude, and they sounded so good.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If it's
so good.
Now they're starting to sound
It's it's one of those things where it's like I love heavy metal music, and they are legitimately the band that got me into it.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
Because I remember my brother David used to love Metallica.
Yeah.
And he would listen to it all the time, like albums. He'd put on Ride the Lightning and shit. And I'd go down in the, he lived in our basement, and I'd go down there and I'd be like, what is this? And that's where I got exposed to them and Maiden and AC/DC and Sabbath and, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Because, obviously my parents aren't listening to that. My other sister that liked rock music was more like Journey and the 80s, hair bands and shit like that. Not even the hair bands, but more of the Journey and those kind of stuff, so I got exposed to a lot of stuff, but my brother David's for sure the one that was like, hey, you need to hear these metal bands. He's the first time I heard Slayer, and that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is fucking awesome,
I mean, I remember when the first time I stole from Columbia House, it was the Black Album and Justice for All. I got Megadeth purely because I thought the cover looked cool.
Yeah.
And Countdown to Extinction was a banger, so I'm glad I got it.
You're the reason I got into Megadeth. Oh, no, my brother listened to Megadeth, but I wasn't as into them because it would have been early Megadeth because, I'm talking Metallica's first few albums that my brother really listened to. So it would have been the first 1 or 2 of Megadeth type albums. and it just didn't hit me the same. But then when you got Countdown to Extinction and stuff, I was like, what is this? And it was like, okay, I'm in.
Like,
then it was
like, oh shit.
Now it's time to go back to the back catalog of Megadeth and go, oh my God, So yeah,
oh, yes.
I hear it.
So it's like, yeah, like I said, dude, I'm ready to go see some concerts. I'm ready to fuck yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Like there's an app called Bands in Town. I re-downloaded it. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that got me though.
Okay.
The motherfuckers on their cell phone the whole time.
Oh, I know, right?
Like a lot of people are just videoing it, which I took some short videos on Friday. I didn't do any on Sunday.
Right.
But if you look around, the amount of people on their phone, not even like Sunday, dude, people are just sitting in the stand watching football on their phone.
The fuck are you there for?
On Friday, this is a video I gotta get from Michelle because she's like, I don't really want to post it, but I will. There was a fucking lady that she recorded that Pantera's on stage playing, and she's playing Pokemon Go.
Was she a chaperone for somebody else?
No, she was they were there Sunday too. They were in the same seats.
That's wild.
And it's like I'm looking around, and the amount of people like on Facebook or texting or like FaceTiming or.
Do you know? I think part of it is like like if you sit and have a movie on, you have that draw to also be on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's permeated into everything. Like people just can't do anything without also being on
I said
phone.
that on Sunday. I think after Ice Nine Kills played, because I looked around, people are on their phone. And I told Michelle, I'm like, seeing all these people at this concert that just can't get away from their phone makes me want to throw my phone away.
Yeah, it's almost like you wish that the bands could put in like a lot of the comedians are doing, to where it's like you got to put your phone in this bag and you can't use your phone during the show.
Yeah, like especially you look down into like the floor and the snake pit, and like they're playing, and you just see people like with their phones.
Yeah,
and it's like
I can understand.
I don't want to watch the concert through my phone.
Yeah, I agree. But I can kind of see it if you're down like right by the stage. I can see doing a lot of recording from there. Because that's shit that you might go back and watch that.
Maybe.
But when you're sitting in like the bleeds, it's like, come on.
It's just
watch this.
And
get a couple, post one to your Facebook, and then move on.
And it's like, okay, the people recording it and doing like, okay. But the people that are just like chatting or on Facebook, it's like, why are you even here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you doing?
I mean,
here? It's like, especially like realistically, especially during Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it if it's during the opener, because how many times have we been to concerts and during the opener, people are just walking around talking like they don't give a fuck about whoever's on stage, right? Meanwhile, you and I are kind of like, well, let's hear what's going on here.
I like music. I want to check it out.
Maybe this is a band that'll kick our ass, And so it's like, if you don't like the other bands, I can even see that a little bit. But it's like, but if it's during Metallica, it's like, what the fuck are you here for?
Yeah, I mean,
like, are you paying all this money to see Pantera? Maybe.
Some of these turds that took some of these ADA seats across from us on Sunday, it was like an older guy and his kids. His kids the whole time were just on their phone. I would have been like roundhousing my kids, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Probably brought the kids because he didn't have a babysitter, but God, that seems real expensive.
Well, I mean, they were like teenage boys. It's like, I'm sure he was like, hey, I wanted to introduce you to this band I love.
Yeah.
And they're just like the whole time just
like, we don't care. Yeah. That's why I said I'm with you, because the last few shows, you remember I said that when we saw when we went up to Detroit and saw the Swellers a few years ago.
Yeah.
Remember on that and it was like, I kind of get it because this is their last show. Well, it was the last show in America, but at the time, it was like, this is like the farewell show. I can understand that one a little more, recording, because it's like, this is it. Like this band is telling us we're not coming back, so I can understand maybe getting a little video. But at the same time, it's like people are doing this through the whole show and you can't see the band because everybody's got their arms up in the air.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Blocking, and it's like, all I see is light glare from your stupid phones.
Yeah. It's
like you're ruining it it's like, it's like I'm almost like now want to be like, okay, venues need to have if you're going to be on your phone the whole time, you have to stand over here.
Yeah, it's like a smoking section, but for phones.
This is the phone section.
Yeah.
If you're over here, you're not allowed to use a phone. If one of the security guys sees a phone, he's allowed to slap it out of your hands.
Yeah, exactly. With a shovel.
With a shovel, yeah. Because it does. It's like I said, I understand, but it's like I can't imagine that most of the people recording all of this stuff are ever really gonna go back and watch it again and again. And you might, but it's
well,
not
some people
like,
are doing like Facebook Live and shit. It's like
that's the shit I don't.
It's like, what are you?
Yeah.
Anyway, I see we're getting pretty long in the tooth here on our show. We should probably wrap this shit up.
And we're just old man ranting anyway.
I know, but all I could say, Metallica's amazing.
Right.
And especially seeing their whole show.
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing.
Right.
And I would definitely see it again. And Brian, I encourage you to do the same.
Oh, I absolutely
Maybe
want to.
next time we can make a whole thing out of it.
Yeah. Well, last time, like I said, last year I tried, but it was like they had like 4 different pre-sales. And by the time those were all done, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
And the seats that were left, we couldn't sit together.
Yeah.
All the seats that were left were like single seats. And I'm like, okay, who's buying a single seat?
Well, we'll have to pay attention next time they're coming back to the area.
Fair enough.
And in general, we should look at concerts anyway.
Yeah.
Because, I do miss going to concerts with my boy.
Yeah, I agree. I miss doing it too. I love the energy of it. Well, even like we learned that even with the beer fest, when I was like, I miss this, that energy of the beer fest. And it was like, yeah, I miss the shows too.
I'll start looking at some of the smaller venues in the area and see what's going on.
Yeah, because that's for sure more my style.
Yeah.
Although, like where you guys were at, I could probably handle that a little bit better, because I can, I'll just be one of the creeps standing around,
Nothing wrong with that.
No. All right. Let's move on to the Q of the W then, I guess.
Okay. Last week, we asked y'all, what did you always want growing up, but once obtained, you don't want anymore? Well, over here on the Instagrams, our boy Shortside, which sent me a terrific Wilford Batley, because he listens to our, because he is a proud Patreon member. And if you want to know what Wilford Batley is, and I will post it on our Instagram, you should check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
It's the Gummy Showdown. We talked all about it. Anywho, he put in a large stack of DVDs. Used to go around the friend's place. He had stacks of them. Over the years, I amassed several hundred, but dear God, they took up so much space. Recently, I binned all of the cases and bought hard folders for all the discs. I do miss looking at all the cases, but dusting was a nightmare. Plus, most of them I can stream now. It's that whole physical media thing that we talk about.
Yeah. It's funny because we've talked, obviously, the pro cons of a lot of that. But it's like, I never thought about that when we were talking about this last week. But yeah, like a comic book collection would be a great one, too. Because as kids, if we were like, hey, at some point I'll have, 50 boxes of comics, you would have been like, dude. And then as an adult, you're like, I need this out of here.
Like, this is a fire hazard.
Well, that too. Yeah. It's like, this is just so much space being taken up. So that makes sense. The DVDs one too, or CDs, all that. It's like the storage of them was a real pain in the ass. Had to have some giant rack for them to go on.
Not going to lie, I don't wish all my CDs would have got, they got flooded out.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish I still had them for some reason.
Yeah. Mine are sitting over my storage. Yeah. I still have mine. I every once in a while I'll look and be like, is there somewhere where I could just sell all of these at once? But it's like, I'm not shipping these somewhere. There's like 300 of them.
Right, exactly, right.
I can't afford that.
That's all we have on Insta, which is more than we normally have. So shout out to Cy and his lady whose birthday just happened.
Yeah, right.
Kiki over here on Facebook, she says Game Boy, or does the Switch count? No, Switch is way better. But Game Boy was dope as fuck. Just saying,
dude.
Purple Game Boy Color.
I was just talking with somebody on Twitter a few weeks ago about Game Boy, and like my first game was technically Tetris because it came with the Game Boy. But the first game I bought was Mario Land, and I remember we were going to do a flea market or a car show or something like that, and I beat it on the way to the place, and it wasn't a very long drive, and I was so disappointed because I'm like, oh, I thought I was gonna get like days of gameplay out of this. Meanwhile, I got hours. I mean, it didn't stop me from playing it again and again and again and again.
That was before microtransactions.
Yeah, but it was still the idea that I was like, all I had was that in Tetris, and it was like, oh, I already beat this. And,
right.
It's like, I love Tetris, but there's only so many games you want to play of it before you're like, okay, I'd really like to play anything else.
I've seen enough of this weird Russian game.
Yeah. And this music is now burned in my head,
Yes. Although it's a banger of a song. Just saying.
It is. Oh, there was 2, remember?
Oh yeah.
And then there was the like hurried one where like you had a lot of stuff like up the music, the pace changed.
Yeah, they called that the Putin remix.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Switch is a whole different beast.
For sure.
Different beast. Even like I never had a 3DS, or no, yeah, the 3DS. Yeah, that was the one with 3D. I never had that one. That I had the one before that, which was the DS. That's what I had. That was the last Game Boy I had was a DS, and then now I have a Switch.
So. All I know is purple Game Boy Color got me through a lot of long nights working in a refinery.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I understand. I've had all of the different Game Boys up to the DS. That was the last one. And even then I didn't buy it. I won it unexpectedly. Remember I won that. It was like that backpack I have. It was like that backpack was filled with like concert tickets and CDs and different stuff. And then I got home and I'm pulling the stuff out and I'm like, what's this? And I pull it out. It was like the Mario Kart edition of the DS. And I'm like, oh.
Like, hell yeah, brother.
I thought I just won like a cool backpack. It was like a Hurley backpack, t-shirt, belt, and then, like 2 concert tickets, and then like 5 CDs. And I was like, well, that's a pretty cool haul right there. And then, I pull out the other and I'm like, oh, and a DS, like awesome. So yeah, that was pretty dope.
Our friend Monica, she says more responsibilities.
Yeah. That's understandable too. Cause a lot of kids, they want the responsibilities because that way they can show that they're an adult basically to their parents.
Right.
Way too soon. Yeah.
Hanno, he says body hair.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I really hit a point where I was like, man, I want body hair.
Me neither. And then I got it and I was like, all right, wolfing out over here.
Seriously.
Dev, he says a job.
Yeah.
Overrated.
For sure.
And
I remember that too. Like, man, I wish I had some money. Well, in order to have money, you got to get a job, and then you get a job, and you're like, do I really want money this bad?
Yeah, really, exactly. And then our pal Derek, he says a girlfriend.
Wait a minute.
I know, right?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, he doesn't have a girlfriend now.
Yeah, he's got a wife.
Yeah. Pretty cool wife too. So.
Yeah, she's cool as hell. Yeah. But that's all I got over here,
I
Brian.
guess maybe he does have a girlfriend. We don't really know. But...
I'm not gonna spread that rumor.
Yeah, I will. It's fine.
But yeah, that's all I got over here, man.
All right. Well, let's have a look. See at Cheeto's answer, and he says, he said crippling addiction to cigarettes.
Oh,
it's like I always thought I wanted to smoke. Always thought it was cool, and now I got this monkey on my back, and that fucker won't quit screaming in my ear. It's like, okay, I never wanted that, but here I am, and you guys asked the hardest question ever, harder than Chinese arithmetic. And my dick. Yes, it's that hard. It says salty selections, responsibility. I when I was younger, I wanted more. I wanted to be a man. Now you can be the man. Please be the man. I'm done.
Yeah, I get that too.
He says, your mom. Take that how you want it, not directed at you boys or your moms. And then he said a copy of the Dune movie from 2000 starring William Hurt. Okay, I wasn't exactly a kid, but I wanted it, and goddamn, that movie is trash. It's really funny because that actually takes you back to the time when there was a little bit of scarcity finding certain movies, whereas now you can buy pretty much any movie you want or stream any movie you want.
For sure.
There's some you can't. We've talked about that before, but, back then, that's why, what was that, Reel.com? That Hollywood Video bought, which was a terrible business decision. But when I worked there, they had that Reel.com company, and that was what they specialized in, was finding hard to find DVDs, VHS, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I ordered movies from people on there, and it was like, yeah, it's like you're paying $50, $100 for a VHS of something, because at that point they hadn't put it on DVD yet,
Right.
Or, as we always go back to, Pootie Tang, which they put out on TV. And then,
good old Pootie Tang.
Yep. And then they only put it out for a short time, and then they didn't, for a while it was a rare DVD.
Zadate.
Yep. All right. That's all I got. So yeah, 1 through 3, because I've been really bad and need to get
God damn it, Brian. How about 2?
2. All right. What TV show / movie had the biggest influence on your sense of humor?
Oh boy. That's a hard one because, man, I grew up. I mean, I really think my sense of humor came from my dad because he was a silly goose.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's got to be a toss up here, Brian. It's gonna be a toss up between Monty Python and Holy Grail, or like too. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh yeah,
because that shit was so ridiculous and I loved the hell out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think mine would be Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and The Simpsons.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I watched The Simpsons a lot not just as a kid, but over the years. And there's a lot of things that I've quoted over the years from The Simpsons. So I that would probably be my guess is, for a long, long time. I don't know for sure if it is now, but yeah, Monty Python for sure too, because I think that show taught me to laugh at way more absurd things.
Oh yeah.
Than I really laughed at before that.
Yeah.
Speaking
of absurd things, Tropical Cocktails I introduced to Leah. Leah was not a fan. Which
too bad that
all
your daughter.
All I was thinking about was you saying it's gonna be a hard sell for this. The show's gonna be a hard sell. I'm like, damn it, Brian was so right.
Nailed it.
But I mean, growing up, like we used to, my dad and I used to watch. Like I watched shit I shouldn't have watched.
Oh yeah,
way too young. Like I was watching like Eddie Murphy Raw and Police Academy and stuff that I was probably above my age level. Mm-hmm. But my dad wanted to watch it, and that's sacrifices you make.
Yeah, right.
Like,
as I remember, similar stuff, because as a kid, I remember watching Blazing Saddles and Monty Python, because the first time I saw Monty Python was at your house, because I remember.
Because I watched it, and I was like, Brian, you need to see this.
Yeah, because it was on Comedy Central, and it was on Friday, and it was going to be on again Saturday, and you were like, you have to come over and watch this.
Yes.
And I remember us being like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, this is pure lunacy. I love it.
And now I love British comedies too, so it influenced a lot of that to where they're not for everybody. There's a lot of people I know that when I'm like, oh, have you watched this? And they're like, yeah, it's not, I don't think it's that funny. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
Well, clearly we can't be friends.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's sad you had to disown your daughter over the weekend.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I mean, he had a good run.
Yeah, Leah's on eBay if you want to check it out.
But yeah, Mystery Science Theater is a really good one because you and I watched a lot of that. And then I think it definitely led to us, even now, when we sit and watch anything, we'll sit and try to crack each other up.
I can't help it. I'll even be by myself.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't help it.
Yeah. I just laugh at absurd things in movies now that they used to point out background stuff.
Yes.
Wait, why is blah, blah, blah? And, and it's now I look for that in movies and laugh at some of the choices they make in movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Tropical Cocktails.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So once again, the question is, I forgot it's not there anymore. What TV show / movie had the biggest influence on your sense of humor? And, feel free to, throw, like we did a couple, so throw a few in there.
Exactly. Hook us up.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of people's answers probably are Monty Python or Mel Brooks comedies or The Simpsons. I really feel like those are probably, or South Park even, because they've been around for fucking 90 years,
Right.
It's hard not to have been influenced by those kind of things.
I mean,
unless you're just not into that.
I mean, I can even shout out I could shout out Cheers, Night Court.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The Muppet Show. I used to stay up late and watch fucking Johnny Carson with my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I used to watch Carson on the weekends because I wasn't allowed, through the week I had to go to bed. But on the weekends I was allowed to stay up, so I'd for sure see it on Friday night, you know, Saturday Night Live, because I saw
SNL for sure.
Yeah, so I used to watch it every week as a kid. well, once I was old enough to stay up that late,
100%.
My parents weren't necessarily watchers of it, but a lot of times they'd go to bed and then I'd watch Saturday Night Live. So not that I wasn't allowed to, it was just, they just went to bed, after the news was over, they'd go to bed.
Hey,
and
you can't help it. They're weak.
Yeah.
They need sleep for some reason.
Right.
Yeah. I hear you.
So yeah. Good shit.
Good shit.
All righty. Well, there you go. Head on over to saltylanguage.com, click all the links, check out tangentboundnetwork.com, which is the website of the network we're part of. If you're looking for a network for your show, please come join us. And if you happen to talk to Mark,
tell him we were supposed to double date at the Metallica show because he was pretty jealous I was there.
Oh,
I told him that. I was like, if I would have known, we could have double dated.
It's too bad. Yeah. That's missed opportunities, right?
Opportunities.
Probably posting that on Craigslist today.
Yep.
You were at the Metallica show and I wasn't.
Exactly.
I'm sad.
I am sad.
I know I was, because I was jealous as hell of like half the people I know apparently were at one or both of those shows.
I was kind of surprised the amount of people that I was friends with that were like, oh, I'm here too. I was like, oh shit, all right.
And all I have to say, you're all a bunch of assholes. So,
Brian,
whatever.
Brian, there's always next time.
Stupid being poor. Why couldn't they just give me a ticket?
I mean, you are the winningest man I know. You should have won some tickets.
It's funny. I hardly enter anything anymore, but I haven't won anything in a long, long time now.
Hooks in the water, my guy.
Due, right?
Hooks in the water.
I should be due by now, right?
Exactly.
All right. If you want to reach out to us on social media, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on various stuff at Stunami.
Find me on Instagram at The Monotony. You can also find me on TikTok at Salty Language because I handle that shit. Check us out on patreon.com/saltylanguage. You want to know what the Wolford Batley's about that I'm going to post on Instagram probably tonight before I go to bed?
You for sure want to know.
You want to know. There's all kinds of good content there. Check it out. It's like
I nearly killed Tony with a comment on that episode.
You did.
So
yeah, I almost died.
You almost died.
Legitimately. And this Sunday, another Patreon exclusive we'll be posting.
Nice.
And so yeah, for like $3 a month, if you want to hear me almost die on gummies, it's cool. Check it out for the low cost of like a third, not even a third, like an eighth of a frickin' Ford Field beer. You too can hear bonus Patreon content
for 1/10 of Tony's big boy meal at the field.
Oh my God. That shit hurt my feeling. When she said that price, I almost walked away.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Like, no, I'm just getting 2 sandwiches and a drink.
Like, no, I'm not paying it forward. I'm just getting my meal.
Yeah. Like, oh no, I'm not buying the whole line here. Yeah, it's like there's one of those commercials to where it's like you're turning into your parents kind of thing, and it shows them at like a salad thing where you get to pick all your toppings, and the guy gets to the checkout and they're like, it's 19 whatever, and he goes, no, I'm just paying for my salad.
Yeah, that's about how I felt.
Yeah.
I also, in theory, do a thing called All the Beers, despite the fact I just had a delicious beer and didn't review it at all.
You jerk.
Brian, you got a side gig?
I do. Heno and I just recorded a new episode a couple days ago of The Crazy Life. Fair warning up front, he talks about how unfortunately he just had to this was beforehand, but how they were at a point where they were going to have to make a very difficult decision with one of their pups, and obviously all our love goes to him and his wife, because they had to put him down, and he was a good boy, and so it was a little rough. Both of us get a little emotional in it, but that's what that show's about, is getting a little raw, being honest, all that kind of stuff.
It's such a hard decision to make, but you have to make it, and it sucks.
Yep. But we also talk about how, like, when you go to therapy or recovery, they give you a lot of tools to use, but sometimes you forget when it's the right time to use them and different stuff. So we talk about that as well in there, and
right
and such. So if you're into that, go have a listen to that. But again, fair warning, if talking about like stuff with pets really gets you, maybe skip this one and go find the one before or something.
Or face your fears head on.
Yeah, do it.
No,
I think
it does suck.
Yeah, think we had a really good talk, though. Him and I usually do, and I think I don't think it was really like down. Him and I both really do try to be positive about different things and finding the silver linings and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what the point of that show is. So,
Yeah, like when I saw that post today that, the decision they had to make.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to like do that whole hug thing when they you hug the person until they're forced to relax into you.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's been such a oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a pet on deck. We lost a cat.
Yeah.
My old dog had to be put down from my previous relationship. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's been a rough year. My parents' dog went down this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't tell you that. I can't remember.
I remember you telling me it wasn't good.
Yeah, they had to put Dozer
down,
which my kids called Uncle Dozer, so that was a great phone call to make to my kids who are adults who took it great.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's just like Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
enough with the pets.
I know, and like I told you, various like Twitter friends and stuff of mine I've seen so many of them have to put an animal down.
Yeah,
it's like, God, what is going on this year?
Yeah, it sucks. That squirrel.
That's yeah. R.I.P. Squirrel. R.I.P. Squeaky.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So So definitely go check that out if you would. Yeah. All right. And for the insult of the week, we'll do real quick here. This is weird because these insults are like a lot of these are like phrases. They're not just like a one-word gimmick, This one is villain, I have done thy mother.
So he's just saying he banged his mom.
It says apparently your mama jokes and insults were just as popular in old England as they are now. This would be a pretty harsh insult when I'm sure you can guess the meaning of it. On that note, I should remind you to call your mom, tell her you love her. And also call your mom and tell her I love her.
Hey.
Yeah, basically it's essentially besmirching someone's mom. So
yeah,
that's pretty rough.
The old I fucked your mom gag.
I assume the only response here is to take your glove off and slap them. I mean, you have to defend your mother's honor via duel, right?
Or immediately die from syphilis.
Well, you might get both, actually.
That's true.
Mean, there's no guarantee.
No guarantee at all.
What did he die from? You just look at him like, what do you think he died from? The same thing all these people are dying from.
Syphilis. Duh.
Yeah. Oh,
dick rot.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, shit. Who knew?
Come on, Jerry.
Damn it, Jerry.
Like, you work here. You know that.
He's fucking around.
Yep. All right. So there you go. Until next week, have a beer. You'll be fine.
I had 2 and I feel great.
All right. Well, have 2 then. Right. Have a sparkling ice watermelon lemonade. You'll be fine too.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good.
Keep those stadium prices to yourself too.
Ooh. It's brutal, man. It's brutal.
Dude, bend over.
I just need to find a sugar mama to pay for my concert tickets,
I too need a sugar mama.
Yeah. I mean, really, or a sugar daddy, we can set boundaries.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. As long as I get to go see Metallica.
Give me some concerts.
Shit.